Farming Simulator 15 with the Rude Man. In the last episode, we finished harvesting our first field, and we're going to continue on with the other two. In our ever-present search for money. So, let's see. What should we do? Let's get in this guy. Get this in this silo. I like the UI of the game. I really do. I think they did a good job on that. The speedometer in the lower right-hand corner, all the little graphical information. I like that. I like what they've done with putting the money up with the time, and you know, the little mini map is cool. I like that. I'm really happy with the HUD and the GUI, the GUI. All right, let's move this guy down to the next field. But I tell you, this equipment, I like the way it moves. It moves very quickly. I like that. It's not sluggish like some of that big equipment was in 2013. Of course, part of that probably had to do with the fact that it was mods and I had about 100 of them running. You know, it could have something to do with it. Okay, so let's get this thing going. Let's kick this pig. Turn on harvester. And you know what? Before we do that, let's jump out of this rig. And we need to get our cultivator going. I want to keep these fields running, if you know what I mean. Is there an easy way down off this hill? I don't think there is, really. I hate to hire a worker, but I want to get this done, and I am trying to do this by myself, so yeah, I checked my 2013 game yesterday, and I do have now over 2,000 hours on Farming Simulator 2013. That's a lot of time. I spent a lot of time on that game. Now granted, a lot of the time I spent on that game was while I was working. I would come home and watch TV or YouTube and while I was playing the game. I can't remember if there's a cruise control in this game. Well, there is 3. But if you remember when you had a tractor and a wagon, or tractor and a trailer running alongside, you could match the speed by hitting 4. I don't know if you can do that anymore. I haven't looked. You know, it's kind of cool to see. If you look over there to the right where that tractor is coming out, turning around, and you see the tracks of the tires and stuff, that's really kind of cool because it looks like somebody's been working this field. And with it, because it leaves the tracks, it looks like the field is being worked. It's a little more realistic. I like that too. There's a lot of stuff I like about this game. Yeah, I was thinking about buying a windrower, but then I was kind of thinking, well, the money I'd spend on a windrower, you know, this straw probably doesn't sell for that much. I don't know how long it would take me to get my money back out of something like that. Would I be better off spending it on property? Which reminds me, let's see. How much is this field? The first thing I'd like to do is buy the 2 fields next to us. These are big fields. I'm just curious what they cost. Or what they sell for. This one is only $39,000. That's affordable. And let's see what this one is. This one's 57. That's not bad. It's a big field. Very big field. So, my mind is wandering right now. Now let's get this harvest out of the way and get some money in the bank. Yeah, my mind is wandering right now. Wandering. I do already owe the bank $100,000, but if I borrowed another $100,000, I could buy those 2 fields. And with the money I get from this harvest that we're working right now, that would give me operating money to seed and fertilize everything. It's going to be a lot of work with one combine, but we could do it. We surely could. So that sounds like a plan, doesn't it? I was curious to see if you could run this full speed, and it looks like I can. So the next thing I'm curious about is I know that there's must be weather because the calendar showed that it's going to be cloudy a day or two. My next curiosity is how good are the graphics going to be for the rain and stuff like that. And I don't know if there's going to be seasons. I haven't read anything about the game. I really haven't. You'd think that I would, but I didn't. I know very little about it other than what we're learning right here and now. I just wonder, I haven't looked at equipment yet either. Is there a version of the Starship Enterprise in this game? I'm going to miss my borer. Yeah, I was dinking around earlier. I was busy rendering and uploading some videos, and so I sat down for a little while. I wasn't able to record because it's Halloween and there's a lot of partying going on in our house and that kind of thing. Kids trick-or-treating and everybody getting dressed up for Halloween parties and stuff like that. So it was too difficult for me to record. So I decided to just play a little Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft in a couple of months. And like everybody else, I played the heck out of Minecraft. And I played all the different versions of it. I mean, you know, the vanilla game and Feed the Beast, all that kind of stuff. I really liked playing Feed the Beast, but then it just got to be kind of, I don't know, you could just pretty much go hog wild there. And I found that it was kind of fun to go back to vanilla, where you just, you know, didn't have to have a way of cheating everything in. All right. Straw is not available. What does that mean? What was it I was trying to do? I don't get it. I saw that earlier, and I wondered what did I do to make it do that? And is my combine moving? It is. It's rolling backwards. It's going to roll back down over that fence. All right. Now, let's see. I was curious, if you drop this trailer, it does. That thing comes down. Oh, and it puts a A chalk under the wheel. Ah! Gotta love it. Well, that's kind of funny. The chalk goes on this side. Does there one go on both sides? Well, it looks like it only chalks one wheel, but it's got two chalks up there. Oh well. All right, I'm wasting time. Straw is not available for current fruit type. Oh, I get it. Because that same button turns the chafe thingy, windrower thingy on. That's right. I understand now. Acomia sample bosenlu. I don't know what that means. Should look it up. Bring my beacons back on, my flashers. Just in case a field mouse jumps out, the beacons should scare him off. I had a buddy of mine was working in, he just finished his field and was baling straw, and he left the straw on for a while, and there was a couple of bales that got left out. I think they got wet or something, and he left them out in the field for some reason, and he was dinking around one day plowing or doing some kind of thing, and he decided that while he was plowing stuff, he was going to take that old bale and break it open, spread it out, and plow it under. So it just so happened that I came over to, visit with him, and he was out on the tractor, and I saw him jump off, and he headed over to this bale to do just what I described he was going to do. And so I come walking up to see what he was doing. I got about halfway across the field. Now, he had a set of overalls on. Not overalls, I'm sorry. He had a pair of coveralls on. And they were kind of baggy, they're not real tight fitting. Coveralls aren't real tight fitting. And he had a pair of big work boots on, and he's about 6'5". He's a big guy. And I got about halfway across the field, and I saw him grab the bale of straw, and he went to move it, was getting ready to break it open, and all of a sudden he threw this bale of straw down and grabbed down on his thigh, and it was almost towards his inner thigh, and I saw him groping his inner thigh, and then he got this weird look on his face and started hollering, and the grip that he had on his thigh was moving up closer to his private parts, and he's screaming, "Get over here! Get over here!" And I came running because I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Well, underneath the bale of straw was a mouse hole or something, and this mouse or rat or something had run up his leg, and it was heading for the nether regions, and he happened to finally get a hold of it, and that's what he was groping for, and he finally got a hold of it, and he had a hold of it, but he didn't want to let go, and he was holding pretty tight, and he said, "Okay, I want you to reach out. I've got it by the body," he said. "I want you to reach out and wring its neck." So I'm kind of feeling around in his overalls from the outside, of course. It's all from the outside. He just grabbed down and was holding it. And I finally found the rat's head and kind of twisted it. He kicked it out of his pants sleeve, but oh, it was the funniest thing you'd ever seen in your life. He wasn't too happy with me because I wasn't very quick about doing it. And he was getting panicky. Kept telling me to hurry up, but I said, I can't stop laughing. So I'm sitting there laughing my ass off, and he's just red-faced and panicking left and right and screaming at me, and it was hilarious. Yeah, some of the fun stuff that happens on a farm. We were out in the fields one day, and it was pretty hot. And I went up to the farmhouse to get a drink of water. Well, it was, like I said, it was a hot day, and the garden hose was laying out there. And I went to the end of the hose, and my little sister came out, and I told her, I said, hey, I'm going to get a drink from the hose. Can you reach over and turn the valve on? And she said, sure. So she ran over. I ran over and grabbed the hose. And I kind of stuck the end of the hose up to my mouth. And I opened my mouth in anticipation of the cool water. Well, for one thing, I wasn't smart enough to realize, I was pretty young, I wasn't smart enough to realize that a hose laying out in the yard in the sunshine, if it had any water in it, which it probably did, it was not going to be cold. You had to kind of let it run for a minute. That was my first mistake. My second mistake was holding the hose up almost into my mouth, waiting for the flow of water. My third mistake was not realizing that some kind of critters might have been crawling up in the hose. And when the water flow hit, there was a snake in the hose, and water pushed it right into my mouth. And oh, you'd have thought I was going to die. It was a little gardener snake, but that didn't matter to me. And I've hated snakes ever since. I just can't stand snakes. They just scare me to death. But those are the small little lessons you learn in life. Anybody that hasn't grown up on a farm don't know what they're missing in life lessons. Yeah, I learned a lot about life on the farm, I'll tell you. Some of it wasn't easy lessons either. One thing, I learned good things. I learned good work habits. I learned that there's an awful lot you can do by just willpower. We used to, I used to work for another farmer that, he was actually not a farmer, he was a rancher. There is a difference. And he used to buy hay. So what they would do at the time is he would get a better deal if he bought the hay on the field and bucked it and loaded it and hauled it himself. So the guy that had the hay, hey, I'll give you a better deal if you do all the work. So what he did was he would hire people, and I happened to be looking for a job, summer job that year. And I knew this guy, and so he hired me. And he was reluctant to hire me because he was a big guy. His regular job, he had a ranch, but his regular job was being a lineman for PP&L, which is a power company. So he climbed poles all the time. He was a big, muscular guy. I mean, he was over 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and solid muscle guy, and a hard worker. This man was just the hardest worker I ever had met in my life. And he used to make sure that the bales were at least between 110 and 120 pound bales. Well, I'm a skinny little kid of like 90 pounds soaking wet, and he didn't think I could do the job. And I told him, you know, I grew up on a farm. I didn't know what farm work is hard, and I can do it. Don't worry about me. And he said, okay, so he hired me. But this is what I mean about, you know, learning a lesson about willpower. I could sit there and buck these bales all day long, and it wasn't easy. They weighed more than I did. And you have to throw them up on a truck, and then you have to stack them. We didn't have any fancy equipment that would pick up bales back then. You did everything by hand. And so there comes a point where, just take this bale of hay. There's a 120-pound bale of hay and a truck that is at least chest high to me. And I have to lug that bale after bale after bale up onto this truck. Well, it'd be real easy to say, oh God, I can't do that. It's too heavy. Oh, it's too heavy. Oh, it's hard work. But you don't do that. You learn that, you know, this is the job. This is what has to be done. And what I mean by willpower, and there's a certain way to do this kind of work so you don't hurt yourself. You have to learn how to pick things up and how to use your legs and that kind of thing, and not twist your back. And, you know, there's techniques to it. And I learned all that. I knew all that. That being said, the bale was still heavier than I was almost. And, you know, not quite, but almost. And so what you learn is that you've got a job to do, and it's not going to get done if you sit there and oh, woe is me, I can't do it. It's too heavy. Nobody else is going to come and do it for you. That's what I was getting paid to do. So you kind of get this mindset that the only thing you've got in your mind is not how hard it is, not that it's real heavy, but I've got to grab this bale and I have to get it up on that truck, and you have to get it done in a fast enough way that you can get to the next one, because this truck is moving and there's no getting around it. You just got to do it, and you tell your mind tells your body, you know, don't worry about what it weighs, just got to get it done. You just got to reach down and do it. You don't think about it. You don't sit and think about how heavy it is, or how hard it is, or how tired you are. What you're thinking is, it's got to be done. I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to put it on that trailer, and I'm going to turn around and get the next one and put it up on the trailer, and I'm going to keep doing it till it's done. And so I learned that willpower has an awful lot to do with, you know, success and being able to do a job and not being able to do a job. And, you know, later on, I was working with a kid that was, you know, over 6 foot tall and about, you know, 3 feet taller than I am. And he just couldn't do it. Almost in tears. You know, oh, it's just too hard. It's too heavy. Oh, woe is me. And he couldn't do it. And here's this little skinny little kid next to him just throwing bales to beat the band. So, yeah, there's something about, you know, good old farm work, good old physical farm work. You know, you were tired and sore at the end of the day, but you felt good about it. Yeah, I don't think there's enough young people nowadays that realize how hard, you know, work can be. You know, I have to say, most of my adult life, I've worked in management. So, you know, 3-piece suit behind a desk. I was a commercial loan officer for Rainier Bank, and I specialized in agriculture loans for about 10 years. And then I worked for the Department of Labor, and at that time I had about 20 or 30 people that worked under me, you know, for employees. So I did the hiring and the firing, all that kind of stuff. So I've had some pretty cushy, soft jobs. They're hard work in a different way, than physical work. And I have to say that the physical work was almost easier on me. Let's see, let me turn this thing off. Yeah, the physical work was almost harder on me, the non-physical work, because of the stress. I ended up getting, the diabetes and heart problems and all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure it was from all the stress I was under. I don't know where in the hell I'm going. I was going to my other field, wasn't I? But anyway, I don't know. It just seems like young people nowadays, they haven't had to do some of the things we had to do when we were young. God, now I sound like I'm Grandpa Jones, don't I? All right, that's enough of that. And the funny thing about it, though, I said there's nothing here. I keep going. I don't mean to belittle young people. That's not my point. I think my point is that things aren't like they used to be. We've got more automation. There just aren't as many physical jobs out there as there used to be. We don't manufacture anything anymore in this country per se. We're pretty much a country of retail businesses and the service industry. Most of the jobs out there are to serve people. We don't make anything anymore. And look how hard it is to go find something that's made in America anymore. There just isn't any such thing. And even American companies don't have things made here. They haven't made in other countries. Things have just changed. It's not like it used to be. Most kids nowadays, the hardest job they've ever done is take the garbage out at the end of the day. I think what I'm going to do is, let's drop this. I'm going to hire a worker here. Oh, what's the deal? Whoa, stop. I have canola in here. This is wheat. So let's I hit about 6 buttons at the same time. That poor combine's jumping like a Mexican jumping bean. Okay, let me go find our trailer here. Oh, for some reason this map I've got it backwards in my mind. And you know what? Before I do that, let me get this guy started in this other field. Alrighty. There we go. Onward. Yeah, I've just offended every young person that's listening to me, and I don't mean it that way. So, yeah, I just meant that things aren't like they used to be. Just like me talking about bucking hay. I know there's still some people that do it, but most of the big farms and stuff have a machine that does it now. They got a rig that runs out and grabs the bale and throws it up on the trailer and stacks it neatly and all that kind of stuff. And so kids don't have the opportunity to find out what hard work's all about. And I'm speaking in general terms. Obviously, there's still a lot of people and a lot of farm kids that have to do physical work and work very hard. So let's see if we can get into this guy and get the rest of this canola. Are you kidding me? That's all there was? Really? Alright. Yeah, I actually, I'm speaking from experience too. My son, I used to have to mow the lawn with one of those old those push reel mowers. Didn't have a motor on it. You know, the motor was you. And I have a riding lawnmower, and I couldn't get my son to mow the lawn if I, you know, I mean, I can even offer to pay him. It doesn't matter. I didn't want to do it. Alright, there he goes. I gotta watch my money over there. I only got $1,800 and I've got 2 hired workers. So what should we do? What should we do? Let's do barley? Should we do some barley? Barley it is. Alright, let's put... Whoa! Let's put this thing away. Okay, let's head up north to Alaska. While those guys are working very hard, I want to find an ATM, take out a loan so we can buy those other 2 fields. What do you think of that plan? Probably don't think much of it, but oh well. Whoa, wrong way, this way. Now, I wonder what this building was for. It's sitting out here all by itself. Is part of it underground? Because if it's not, you can't even stand up on this side of the building if you're, you know, inside there. Unless it's kind of a work shed or something. Maybe it's a fruit cellar or something. Alright, kids, put your Sunday best on. We're going to Sears. We're going to the equipment shop. Mainly because that's the only place I know of that has an ATM. There's probably more, I just don't know where they're at. Okay, ATM. Let us borrow. Wonder how much we can borrow. I'm going to borrow another 100 if I can. That's the maximum. That's what I thought. Now we got to pay it back though. That's going to be the tricky part. We're going to play chicken. I lost. This is a Hurleyman. I like my farm. It's a nice farm. I got some nice old buildings. They're in good repair. I didn't notice I have wood stacked back here. Why is there wood stacked over here? I wonder where the fireplace is. Wouldn't you think the fireplace would be up by the farmhouse? Well, that's a long ways to haul wood. Man, what kind of an outbuilding is this? I sure wish we could go inside. Can't even see in the windows. Come on. It needs to have a window you can see in if you won't let us inside. Hello? Can we get in? Let me in. Doggone it. I want to get into buildings. Come on, Giant. Do an update where we can get into buildings. Let's buy the big one first, just in case we don't have enough money. I mean, I think we do. It was 57 and 30 something. So we should have about $20,000 left over. That should give us a little bit of operating money. Okay, yeah, let's buy. Let's buy you. Got 43,000. We're gonna have less than I thought left over. I think you know, they tend to do that. They tend to. That's why when they sell you something, it's always $19.99, $19.95, or $19.99. That's a penny off of being $20. They don't want you to think 20. They want you thinking 19 because you think you're getting a better deal. And so it's always $19.99. And that's wow. I really was off on that figure, wasn't I? I only got 4,000 left. That's kind of how auctions work. You know, you get to bidding on something, and you get to thinking that, well, it's only $1 more. You know, okay, I hear 50. Did anybody want to give me 51? The auctioneer, you know, and you're thinking, you get in the fever of the bidding process. And you keep thinking, oh, it's just $1 more. It's just $1 more. What you don't realize is that by the time it's just $1 more, it could be that you're already paying $10 or $15 more than you could buy a new one for. But that's how the auction thing works. You know, you get in that frenzy of bidding, and you think that you're thinking, oh, it's $1 more. It's kind of like gambling. And I can't tell you how many friends of mine like to gamble, and they'll come and say, oh, geez, I just won $15,000. Oh, you did? How much did it cost you to win that? What do you mean? Well, how much did you spend to make the 15,000? Well, and in the long run, they figure it all up, and they probably spent 20,000 to win 15. But they don't think about that. They only think about, oh, well, look what I won. Yeah, when you gamble in the casino, the house always wins. And with that, you can probably tell I'm not much of a gambler. And also, it is time to make this the end of the episode. And we got another couple fields done. We bought some new fields. We're going to get those seeded up, and we're going to make some money. So happy farming, and I'll see you in the next episode.